Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal movie. Long title, but yeah, I ended up watching both parts. I basically have never watched Sailor Moon, or at least if I have, it was a really long time ago when I was a kid, and I don't remember much besides like transformations, which is most known for. So I know nothing about Sailor Moon, and I was like, this could be a good way to kind of like get myself into the series, but it definitely wasn't. It definitely was not. Just because there's a lot of different relationships already established, and it feels like, this was a movie for the fans, not for like newer people. Not that you can't enjoy it, but it was harder for me. So let's just go ahead and dive right into this review. More recently in some of my videos, I've been like taking notes so that way I can like articulate things a little bit better. But I don't think taking notes for these two movies would have helped me at all because I was confused for the majority of the time. So I pulled up the wiki here, so I'll be referencing that, and I'm just gonna be asking questions that because there's some things that I don't understand. I'm like, is this a part of Sailor Moon, or did Netflix just throw this in, or maybe you guys can help me out. So my number one thing is, so start the movie with Usagi, Chibiusa, and Mamoru, and like, I don't really know what their relationship is. I've seen gifs of Usagi, or like, I think people refer to her as like Sailor Moon, and Mamoru as like kind of having like weird, awkward couple stuff happening. So I'm like, okay, I think they're an item, but I don't know. But then, like, I think pretty quickly into the movie, we hear that like Chibiusa is like kind of into Mamoru, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute. Like, she has a little crush on him. And then we figure out that like Mamoru is supposed to be Chibiusa's dad in the future. So I'm like, okay, weird. That she knows that that's supposed to be her dad, yet she still like has like a crush on him. And so that was throwing me off a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I've seen Sword Art Online, this isn't the weirdest thing I've seen in anime, so I can move past this. And then I think the next thing that I can remember of note, they meet this unicorn named Helios, and Helios is kind of asking for help because there's some weird stuff going on with a Dead Moon Circus with there's 4 different girls, and they're called the Amazon Quartet, and they're kind of like, they're not the ringleaders, but they're like people kind of running the circus acts and stuff, and they like spread darkness all throughout the city. So Helios, who we don't know anything about at that moment in time, was like reaching out to Chibiusa. I was like, oh, young maiden, I need your help, young maiden. Like, there's bad things going on, basically. So she's like, oh my god, unicorn, whatever. And then like later on in the first part, or the first movie, Helios like tries to get in contact with Chibiusa again. He gave her like this little bell that she can ring. So she rings the bell, and then she says his name, and he appears. And I forget all the steps leading up to this. I just remember this part. So as a horse, Helios walks up to Chibiusa and starts to kiss her. And at first I'm like, oh my god. And then it transforms into a man, and I'm like, oh god. So what first was bestiality now turned into not appropriate relations with children. Granted, I don't know how old Helios is, but he definitely does not look the same age or remotely in the age range of Chibiusa. So I think that's probably my number one question of the movie. Like, the whole Chibiusa liking her dad thing aside, why was that a thing? Is that common in Sailor Moon? Like, the animal thing, Still weird, but I could accept that more for some reason. I don't know, it's still weird. But I could accept that more than her kissing a teenage to like fully grown man and then like having a crush on him after that. I want to know why he kissed her. Why she kind of let first a horse kiss her and then a grown dude, and then why she had a crush on him after that. Like, I don't put the blame on Chibiusa because, you know, she is a little girl, and it's like if you were attracted to the dude, then I could totally see like, oh my god, he kissed me, oh my god, it's my true prince or whatever, blah blah blah. That just made me uncomfortable. So then the whole rest of the time I'm looking at Helios like, nasty. Like, you're nasty. So, yeah, I got some questions, Sailor Moon fans. I have some questions about that. I hope that doesn't happen anywhere else in the show. Okay, moving on. Okay, so then the Amazon Quartet, they're trying to take the, I don't know if they're trying to take the powers or the crystals that give them the powers of all the Sailor Moon characters, like the younger versions. Let me see. Are the names on here? Yeah, Ami Ray and Makoto, I think. This was by far like, I don't know. I don't understand why they did this. More acceptable than the first grievance that I have, but so Ami, Ray, and Makoto, who are part of the Sailor Moon group, they all have dreams. Like, the movie starts out with them like looking at, oh, the solar eclipse. That's how this all started. So they're looking at the solar eclipse and it's like, oh, it happens once every 1,000 years or something. If we make a wish, maybe it'll come true. So they're making wishes about like wanting to run like a shop and wanting to be an idol, and I forget what the third one is, but they're making wishes on stuff. So the Amazon Quartet kind of use dreams to manipulate people. So they send out their henchmen, which turned a tiger into a dude, turned a bird into a dude, something else into a dude. A lot of, they weren't anthropomorphic, but they did turn into people, so I don't know what you call that, but a lot of animal to people transformations, I guess. So each, maybe, was it a duck? Or I don't know. It was another bird, possibly. So they all go out and seek these three people in the Sailor Moon group, and they try to take their powers away by convincing them like, oh, like this is part of your dream. Like if you join us, or if you just like accept this like false dream that I'm showing you, then like your life will be so much better, blah blah blah. And in doing that, they're able to kind of like sap their power away. But of course, each time they're like, oh no, this isn't my dream. Like I actually realized like this is what I want to do, or like this isn't who I want to be, this is what I want to be. And they're able to break through it and do some kind of transformation, which is cool. There's not a lack of transformations in this movie, which is great. But the repetition of having that happen 3 times, it's so obvious. And it's kind of funny because like the last one, the leader of the group, who might be Makoto, that would be kind of funny because the voice actress actually plays Makoto in Persona 5, if that is her name in Sailor Moon. But the leader of the Sailor Moon group like walked into the trap, and she even said, I know this is a trap, but I'm the leader of the group and I want to prove myself to my peers, since she wasn't able to transform, since she didn't have her crystal, I don't think. So I don't know why she really threw herself in that situation, but I guess she felt she had something to prove, so that's why she fell into the trap and was like trying to unravel it from the inside, but totally didn't happen like that. So I like, yeah, I get it. You need to kind of have like development for each character, but literally repeating basically the same scenario every time is kind of boring. It's kind of boring. And then, like, I don't know. Yeah, I just have to say it was kind of boring. But, you know, thankfully, that wasn't, like, an issue in the second part. And the second part, I feel like, was the best part of the collection, I guess, you could call it. So let me read this and see if there's anything else I need to talk about before getting to the second part. Alright, yeah, so I pretty much got everything. So that was grievance number 2, was the like repetition of that over and over again. But in part two is where things get a little bit more fuzzy, because like things start happening like at a much faster rate than I was able to like try and piece things together. So in the second movie, it starts off where we're actually not on like the central Sailor Moon group, I guess. We're looking at the older Guardians that had grown up and had lost their powers, and so they're taking care of a child who's called Sailor Saturn, and Sailor Saturn is like a reincarnation of the previous Sailor Saturn, I think. And so they're like taking care of her as a baby, and she was growing like super fast, so she went from like baby to toddler to like small child within a matter of a few months, I think. So that was a little like they were confused about that, but then she was able to explain, because I guess her reincarnated form like woke up, because they knew that Sailor Moon was in trouble. Because I think, okay, let me try and break this down for you guys, since I was a complete mess while recording this video. So what I was trying to explain is the fact that Sailor Moon became ill, and the other Sailor Guardians could feel that. And so one of the reasons that she became ill is actually because of Mamoru, who was ill in the first part, or the first movie in this collection. And he became ill, we later find out, because Helios was trapped in a cage, and Mamoru and Helios have some kind of connection. So as Mamoru started getting ill, he passed like I guess a threshold point where Sailor Moon started getting ill as well, because Sailor Moon and Mamoru have a connection as well. So there you go. More, trust me, you didn't want to see the train wreck that just transpired. I think like all of the Sailor people end up getting together because they feel like something's wrong. The older group starts feeling that something's wrong with Usagi, who's like Princess, the reincarnation of Princess Serenity, I think. So they show up to where we last left off in the first movie, where the leader of the younger Sailor Moon group had gotten captured, but then had been freed by the older group. This is so confusing. I'm sorry. But so yeah, they all try and go find her. Chibiusa like is running to go get help because she sees like, oh, Sailor Moon's having some issues or whatever. And then I think Chibiusa and Sailor Saturn get captured and get put into this mirror by Nihelena. So then Sailor Moon goes in to the mirror and goes after them like pretty shortly after and helps free them. And so then they're fighting Nihelena. There's all this different transformation fighting scene stuff. And then towards the end, they figure out that are they awaken Sailor Moon's silver crystal. So then it like kind of petals like a flower, which is pretty cool. And then and she helps Mamoru awaken his crystal, because he had this gold crystal that Helios was telling him about, but he didn't know like how to like bring it out. But I guess Sailor Moon kind of helped. So together they transformed and had on these white outfits and basically blasted Nihelena, and she died. So then they were able to free the Amazon quartet, and it turns out they were also like Sailor Guardians, I think. Let's see. Yeah, Sailor Ceres, Sailor Pallas, Sailor Junos, Sailor Vista. And they're supposed to sleep in the Amazon jungle, but then Helena like woke them up in the middle of their sleep and like took control of them. I don't know how she managed that, but she did it. And so now that they're back to normal, they're like, okay, Chibiusa, when you become a full-fledged guardian, we'll wake up and we'll help you like keep things under control, whatever, peace. And then they left. So yeah, I don't think I can explain things much better than that. I think my other point of confusion is, so this isn't really so much of a like this doesn't make sense kind of thing. I was just confused about this. So when Sailor Moon and Mamoru awaken to this like godlike power, Sailor Moon transforms her friends, so they're already wearing like their Sailor Moon costumes, you know, because they transformed and they were like battling or whatever. So then she transforms them, and then all of a sudden they have on these like dresses, like just regular dresses, I guess. They look good. But I was confused. I'm like, how is this more powerful than like their battle outfits? Because it just looks like they're going to a nice dinner or something now. So that happens, and then when they start like trying to help Sailor Moon again, and they see for some reason their spirit comes to them wearing the Sailor Moon like battle outfits or whatever, like their transformation outfit, their first transformation outfit. That was kind of weird because I'm like, why are you talking to yourself that you just were like 10 minutes ago? But yeah, they did that, and then they went back into their first transformation outfits and gave Usagi more power or whatever to defeat Helena. And then after that, they transformed back into their like evening gowns or whatever. So I'm like, what is happening? Why are you going back and forth so many times? Now, granted, I watched Dragon Ball Z, so I see a lot of transformation, like power down, all that kind of stuff. But I'm still, at least with that, I know the purpose. I know what's happening. Here, I don't know what's happening. And you know, once again, I had not seen Sailor Moon, so I don't understand. But I feel like that was like a fairly new transformation. I still don't understand what the purpose of it was. So yeah. I'm still looking at Helios kind of weird though, because that was so off-putting to me. I don't understand. Like, and I want to think like, you know, maybe it was supposed to be written kind of like a 90s anime or whatever, but I'm thinking like, I don't think I've seen anything where they do something like that, or at least it's not coming to me right now. So yeah, that was my experience watching those two movies. Did it deter me from wanting to watch the series? Absolutely not. I think if anything, I'm more curious to understand why everything happened the way it happened. So I need to find somewhere to watch it and then sit down and watch it. But I'm curious. So if there's any Sailor Moon fans watching this, did you enjoy this movie? Was it kind of just like, oh, Sailor Moon is back, like I'm happy to see them, you know, the transformations and all that kind of stuff again? Or were you like, this movie doesn't make sense, why did it need to happen? This isn't the same Sailor Moon that I'm used to seeing and the same quality. I'm just curious, because you know, I don't think Netflix does anime, like original anime. I think they do really well, but bringing back an older anime sometimes can be a little bit iffy. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below what you thought about that, because I'm still a little confused. As I was reading the Wikipedia, I'm like, wait, all of this happened? So clearly I missed some things within the film, but you know, that's okay, because once again, that was my first time watching anything. They already had established things, so it was going to be kind of hard for me to just pick up everything on the fly like that. But yeah, I think that's all. It's just something I watched recently, and I'm like, I kind of want to talk about this, but I don't know if I have the abilities to talk about this. So I talked about my confusion instead. But yeah, thank you guys for the support with everything, even with confusing videos like this. I really do appreciate it. And just wanted to let you guys know, now that E3 is over, although Sony has not made a presentation yet, so I'll be on the lookout for that. But now that E3 is over, I'll be able to get back to a somewhat regular schedule. Once again, still wanting to try some of the video essay ideas that I have. But on the in-between, I can update you guys on stuff I've been watching, like Loki, for example. And I'm actually podcasting with the Geek Vibes Nation channel once again and talking about Loki. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that show, you can look up at the right top hand corner somewhere at the top of the screen. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, also, if you wanted to see some E3 news, I'll probably be doing some updates like that and stuff on my gaming channel as well. So now I think I'm done. But yeah, you guys will have to let me know what your thoughts were on this movie if you did end up watching it. And hopefully, if you have the time, I would love to hear like an explanation for different things, specifically Helios. I just want to understand. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go. So I hope you all have a nice evening or night. Whereas enjoy it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.